Hi, I'm Hamish McAlpine, a director here at Oxentia and lead for policy engagement. I'm here today with Oxentia's Summer 2023 HEI Roundup. So the first thing I want to talk about today is the initial decisions for the Research Excellence Framework 2028, which were published in June here in the UK. Whilst you might think the Research Excellence Framework, is all about measuring research, it actually has a lot of relevance to knowledge exchange and commercialisation, and not least because now 25% of it is weighted for impact. And in the initial decisions, that impact category, if you like, has been expanded into engagement and impact. And what they call engagement, I just see as knowledge exchange. It's the stuff you do to create the impact. There's also quite an intriguing reference to the concept of the rigour of the engagement, i.e. how well that engagement's done, which again in my mind is really just about the quality of knowledge exchange. And the reason this is so interesting to us is we've been working quite a lot recently with theories of change and logic modelling as a way of helping academics to explore how they might use knowledge exchange on their pathway to impact. The two really are inextricably linked, and logic modelling and deploying theories of change is a great way of showing those links. Okay, so the second thing I'd like to talk about is summer conference season, which has just been. And Oxentia attended the Praxis Oral Conference here in Nottingham in the UK. And we also had a quick jaunt over to Canada to go to the ACIS Societal Impact of Science Conference in Halifax, Nova Scotia. It's always a huge pleasure to go to conferences with a really strong international presence, as ACIS did, with participants from all over Europe, the US, and as far afield as Ecuador. And the reason it's just so great is because it's just a real pleasure and a privilege to learn from the experiences of others, to see what's going on in an international context, and to really learn from that. And one of my key takeaways from the ACIS Societal Impact of Science Conference was that there is a real strong and growing interest in measuring impact just beyond the kind of economic impact into the social and the environmental. And a lot of people are grappling with, how do we do this? What are the appropriate metrics? How do we capture this stuff, which is really hard sometimes to reduce to pounds and pence or a single figure. I think it's fair to say that nobody has the definitive answer to that, but there's some great discussions, and again, it chimes so strongly with this idea of using logic modelling of theories of change in order to build that picture and that story, which you can then supplement in rich ways with not just metrics but narratives and case studies. So we see it fits in really well with our approach to how we're trying to measure impact beyond the pure economic impacts. So thirdly and finally, I'm really pleased to announce that we'll shortly be launching a major new survey, the KES4 survey. This aims to address a current kind of gap in the data available about how universities structure themselves, what systems they use, how they organise themselves to deliver high quality knowledge exchange. The idea for this came about really because we work with a lot of clients both in the UK and internationally in the higher education sector, and one thing they're always really interested in is how do they compare to others in terms of the level of resource and how that resource is organised to support knowledge exchange. For example, do they have a small centralised team, or is the resource in terms of people and systems more distributed into faculties or departments? And there's a surprising lack of good comparable data on this. So for example, in the UK there is the HEI survey, but that really focuses on gathering the sort of tangible outputs of the knowledge exchange, not how the university is structured and set up to deliver it. So what we're planning is a comprehensive survey covering lots of topics, from how the university structures its KE support offering to how staff working in this space are rewarded and recognised, how career progression is dealt with, what supporting systems are used, and all of those kind of related areas. And not only will we publish a report on this, but any participating university will receive a customised report which has their own individualised results, benchmarked alongside a anonymised peer group of other institutions who are taking part. We think this addresses a real gap in the KE data landscape. We think in the UK the results of this survey will be very valuable in feeding into exercises like the Knowledge Exchange Concordat, and we really look forward to launching that in the coming weeks. So we hope you found that roundup interesting. If anything I've talked about sparks an idea, or you'd like to discuss something further, then please feel free to reach out via our social channels on LinkedIn or Twitter, or good old-fashioned pick up the phone and have a chat. See you next time.